everybody. Welcome to another edition of One Crazy Story. I'm your host, Nate Armbruster, and thanks for being here. Hope you're doing well. I am. Well, I'm doing all right. And when I say all right, I mean I just found out about this 16-year-old kid that won $3 million playing Fortnite. And god damn it, man. Like, it's so funny. My instinct is just to be jealous of the kid. But, you know, that's pretty amazing. How many people did he beat? I mean, there was something like 40 million players who, like, participated in the, like, qualifying events for the World Cup, the Fortnite World Cup. Like, 40 million people just tried to get into the World Cup, right? I mean, shit. I mean, let's just say that. I mean, he basically beat 40 million people, although how many of those 40 million suck, you know? I mean, that's just the qualifying round. I mean, I could have attempted, right? Like anybody can. So I guess, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but Jesus Christ, man, the fact that many people were even interested. And I know a bunch of people who play this game, and I don't know anything about it, really. I just know you got to be the last one left, right? It's like the last person living, right? You gotta outlive everybody or something. And this kid won $3 million. That's just for like the solo turn. Like he won like the solo. Like he's the guy. He's it, man. He's the best Fortnite player in the world. What? $3 million? That kind of money is being thrown around in the video game world now. Damn, man. I should have kept playing this shit. I should have stayed interested in. I mean, I was never really into video games anyway. Had I been, maybe I would have stuck with it, you know. And it's so funny as people, I see all these people now, you know, people talk about how addicting video games are. Like they say it's a real problem, as if, I mean, we're all addicted anyway. We're already staring at our screens all the time. I mean, at least that kid's turning his addiction into a monetary gain. A tremendous monetary game, you know. He's $3 million at 16, all from playing a video game. I mean, it's hard for me to be like upset about that. You know, I want to be like, what a loser, plays video games all day. I think I read like he played like 8 hours a day or something like that. Anyway, like, so of course he did. To be that good, I mean, you have to be that good at anything. You got to like really, really you have to like live it. Jesus Christ. I mean, that is so much time. You know, to me, it sounds dumb, right? But also, if the payout is $3 million, 8 hours a day doesn't sound that bad. I know plenty of people who work 8 hours a day, hate their life, and they make like $30K. So, I mean, at least that kid's playing video. Like, yeah, sure. Maybe it's not the best thing. Maybe it's not the best thing for him, but he got really good at it. And like, I try being that kid's mom, though. Could you imagine? Like, you're always playing that dumb game. Go outside. And then he wins $3 million and he's like, you still want me to stop playing this game or what? You know, I got endorsements now. Could you imagine coming into $3 million at the age of 16? I mean, I'm 27 and, you know, I get excited about absurdly low amounts of money. Like, did you say 10 grand? Oh, you know, like, like I get excited if I just hear numbers like that. But like at 16, you don't even understand. Like, I mean, I was bagging groceries for like $6 an hour or whatever it was. And this kid just gets $3 million. I mean, don't get me wrong. He worked for it. He really earned it. But God damn it, man. I couldn't imagine $3 million showing up in my bank account tomorrow as a grown man. I'd just be like, what? And everybody's talking about this kid with $3 million, you know, at 16. I mean, obviously he's 16. I don't know how it works, but man, I hope that kid's smart with his money, you know? I mean, see this thing, getting older just ruins money for you, you know, because I'm just thinking about what this kid's going to do to waste it. I'm like, better make sure you invest that shit, you know, make sure you save it, be responsible now. Like, where's the fun in being a kid, you know? You got to have a little fun. Like, man, is he going to be irresponsible? Maybe a brat? Well, he plays video games all day. He's probably not the, like, coolest kid. Or maybe he is. I don't know. I've never... Like, what if he is the coolest kid, you know? Plays video games all day? I mean, he's definitely the coolest fucking guy anybody knows, right? If you know that kid. Could you imagine? He's going to have a lot of friends now if he didn't, $3 million worth. Like, what would you do with that money? A lot of people, like, I always feel bad for, like, child stars or kids who get, like, famous and rich really young because it can ruin their life. I mean, that's always a bummer, but I feel bad for those kids because, they don't have a normal childhood. Could you imagine being 16 and just having access to $3 million? You know what I mean? Like, you can see it. You can look at the number and it's like, yeah, that's definitely mine. That's mind blowing to me. Like, a lot of people used to shit on Joe. Well, I mean, I guess everybody still shits on Justin Bieber, but sure, I'm not a big fan of him, but I can't really judge the guy for being an asshole. You know what I mean? He's got his whole life. He's been just everything. Hey, could you going anywhere at the age of like 13? How old was he when he was discovered? He was a young teenager, right? And that kid could go anywhere in the entire world and be recognized, and not just recognized, like mobbed. Because people liked him that much. That's a whole different thing, like that'll fuck you up. Like it has to. Dude, I go anywhere now, nobody gives a shit. Not even the people that I love. It's like, oh, cool. That was your day. All right, cool. That's it. That's the extent. Global fame blows my mind. And people judge him like he's supposed to be some normal kid. He's like, you're 18. What are you doing racing Lamborghinis and throwing eggs at houses? Well, if I had $120 million at the age of 18, I would also be a piece of shit. I'm kind of a piece of shit and I'm worth negative money at this point, right? I can't really say that I'm better than the guy just because I'm not rich and famous. I feel bad for people like that. So I hope this kid keeps his head on straight, keeps playing video games, out of trouble. Stay out of like now if I were his mom, I'd definitely be like, son, if you're not playing video games 8 hours a day, you're grounded. I think I read too, like even like second place and third place still got more than $1 million. And the person that got third place was like 24 years old and the oldest in the tournament or something like that, or at least the oldest in that portion of the tournament. What? 24-year-old man? He's that good, but he lost to a 16-year-old. And I feel like video games is the only activity where that's like not embarrassing. If he's 24, he's like an old man to these kids. And you lose to a 16-year-old, it's like, yeah, you should have. You should have. Because if you're playing 8 hours a day at 24, what the fuck, man? That kid's 16. I guess that's somewhat acceptable. 24, you got to be doing other shit. The fact that there were like 40 million people that even tried to even get into the that's unreal. I like reading people who think it's dumb or like this kid's a loser, like he should be doing something better with his time. It's like, would really? I mean, aren't you just jealous to a certain extent? I mean, I'm just jealous. Like you can just admit when you're jealous, I'm sorry you didn't spend 8 hours a day trying to get good at something, You just wish, I think I kind of grew up in the right era, I didn't get really into video, not to this unhealthy level. I think it's still crazy, but like I get it. I'm just jealous of the kid because he's rich now. If he was broke, you'd call him a loser. If you have to pick an addiction for a young kid in this day and age, video games, I'm going with that, right? You can make $3 million, even $1 million. You know what? Even if you're the worst player in that tournament and you walked away with any money, that you've already won, Because then anybody that gives you shit for playing video games, you can just tell them to fuck right off, Like, man, maybe I'll just start playing Fortnite. I'm 27. That'd be kind of sad, actually. I just wish this kind of money was being thrown around for playing video games back when I was playing video games. Could you imagine winning $3 million just for playing, Super Mario Brothers? That'd be sweet. Well, hey, since, a 16-year-old kid just won $3 million for winning a video game, which I realize I am diminishing his accomplishment to just winning a video. I mean, I know he beat a bunch of people. I know. I understand what he did, but still just playing a fucking video game, man. $3 million. So if I can get anybody to throw a couple grand toward a podcast, let me know. My email is onecrazystory@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, @onecrazystory, @Nate Comedy. Come see me live. Do all that shit, man. I would love to meet you. Love to see you. I did a show last weekend in Rockford, Illinois at a lovely Italian restaurant. Great venue, set up really nice, but I show up to the gig way too early, first of all. I got there extremely early. And it was a new venue for me, and the booker's like, hey, get there early. They're a new client or whatever. They're a new venue for us, so I want to make a good impression, or at least I don't want to make a bad one. You know what I mean? So I show up early, right? Nobody there. Completely empty. Even the staff was like, you're one of the, that's right, there's a show tonight. Like, okay, well, I guess just go sit in this corner and hang out for like an hour. And then until like 10 minutes to showtime, the room is completely empty. And there's like, I don't know, probably seats 150 people maybe. I don't know. It was a decent size, but and it was a restaurant, like kind of like a showroom in a restaurant. And every empty table, they're lighting the candles. And I'm like, guys, it's 10 minutes to showtime. There's nobody in here. What do you, just don't. This just makes it more sad. Don't do it. And sure enough, they were right. The place was packed. Apparently they all eat dinner beforehand or something. So like they just come right in, like right at showtime, essentially. So it was sweet, right? Packed house. 10 minutes after we're supposed to start, the manager comes over like, hey, normally there's like an opener MC guy, and he's just nowhere to be found. Nobody can get a hold of him. I tried calling him. So now everybody's panicked. Like they think something horrible happened to the guy. And then a guy was sitting and then someone else was like, hey, I know the guy. I'll call his wife and see if he left yet. Or maybe, or if everything, just to check and make sure everything's okay. Guy calls his wife. She's like, what? I don't know. I don't know where he's at. Whatever. Sure, the guy just never left. He thought the gig was like next week or whatever. He just kind of mixed up his days or something, and he just didn't think he had to be anywhere. So we waited for him. But while we were waiting for him to get there, luckily he lived close. They had a band in the other room. They're like, we're going to have so-and-so come over and play some music until he gets here. And it was a saxophone player, which, Italian restaurant, swanky, saxophone player, everybody's, it's jazzy, everybody loves it. It's great. So I'm thinking this guy's gonna like just kill it on the sax, right? And then when the MC gets here, we're gonna get started. Guy comes over, plays Happy Birthday, and I if I remember right, there was one birthday or nobody respect. He was like, anybody have a birthday in here? And like he had to like pry it out of people. And he played Happy Birthday to a room full of people. Like it's like, okay. And by the way, Happy Birthday on a saxophone doesn't sound as cool as you'd think. I don't know. I was like, all right, this will be interesting. Nah, it was all right. And then he played something else. He played he played an actual song after that. And he's a great saxophone player, but man, opening up a comedy show with saxophone, not the best idea. Just gets people in a calm, chill mood. Everybody's like, oh man, I want more of that fucking saxophone, man. Everybody's like, oh, is this comedy music? It seemed like a weird, confusing way to kick off the show, but it worked. We got through it and had a great time. So if you're listening to this and you were at that show in Rockford, thanks for putting up with my shit. And if you're here, I hope that means you like me. So thanks for joining. I appreciate you. And it was a good way to kick off the weekend. I had a great weekend, man. I went and saw a band I liked by myself. I did. Because I'll go places by myself. I almost prefer it, really. Especially because like movies, if you guys don't go to movies by yourself, like ever, do it at least once. You owe it to yourself. It's kind of fun. And especially if you go during the day, it's great because sometimes you'll be the only person in the theater and you just feel like a king, or queen, however you identify, prince, princess, whatever you like. But yeah, I would recommend going to places alone sometime. Eat alone, do it. And don't look at your phone. Just sit and eat alone. It can feel weird, especially if you're addicted to your phone, the way most of us are. You owe it. Just shut your phone off, leave it in your pocket, and just sit and look around. And it feels so weird, but it's like it's worth it. I promise. Because if you like it, it's a great. I believe the term is treat yourself. You should. Why wait for somebody to go eat at that nice restaurant? You know what I mean? Like. If nobody else is into it, go do it. Or if you don't know anybody who's also into that and would enjoy it with you, don't drag somebody that won't appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, don't drag somebody there who's just like going for your support or just because you asked and can't say no, or like can't just be honest. Like, I don't want to see that movie. Go by yourself. You know what I mean? If you go to an event or a show or a restaurant with somebody who won't appreciate it the way you will, it's going to ruin the experience. At least it does for me. So I've done it many times. I go to a movie by myself a lot. I think a lot of it too is I just don't have friends, but I've gone to plenty of movies alone. I eat alone a lot. Drinking alone, it can be nice, but be careful with it because you're teetering on being sad, But I would recommend it. Go to a concert alone, man. It feels weird for like 10 minutes, but then once the show starts, nobody cares. Nobody's looking at you, and if people are like, "What?" Nobody's going to a show like you think that guy's alone. But also, I stand out. I look like a moron everywhere I go, so maybe people were, but definitely had a blast. It was a lot of fun. I would recommend it, man. Do shit alone sometimes. Life's too short to wait for people who don't give a shit. Just don't. Just go enjoy your life now, man. Go do that thing you always wanted to do. Just do it. Don't wait for anybody. Just fucking do it, Unless it's like murder or or you're hurting somebody. Then, don't do it. Don't do it. Go to a therapist. Figure it out. And, go to a comedy show alone. That's the best because, stand up, in my opinion, maybe I'm biased, best form of live entertainment, especially if it's somebody who's not famous. Go to a club, go to a comedy club. Just don't even look at who's performing, right? And always watch the opening acts because sometimes, man, those people are funnier than the headliner. And also, you just don't know. I mean, some people are so fucking funny and nobody knows who they are. Some of the best shows I've seen are from people who just aren't famous, aren't selling any tickets, and deserve the support of people like you. So I would recommend going to a comedy show alone or with somebody who will enjoy the shit out of it. Those people are great to see a show with. And of course, listen to a podcast alone. If you're alone right now, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. If you're not alone, maybe I'm on speaker. Hey, everybody. But if you are, thanks for joining me. Actually, you know what? Everybody, if you're hearing this right now, thanks for being here. And do me a favor, head over to whatever platform you listen to my podcast on and just leave a review. Throw 5 stars on there if you don't mind. If you have any comments, hopefully they're nice. If not, maybe keep them to yourself. That'd be great. But I sincerely thank you for listening. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. If you want to come see me live, hit me up on Instagram at NateComedy, at OneCrazyStory. Email me at onecrazystory@gmail.com, especially if you want to give me money or throw a couple grand behind a podcast. I mean, I'm not playing Fortnite or anything, and I realize I'm not that amazing. But, money helps. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.